Introduction to the Galactic Empire. The Galactic Empire was a behemoth, an unstoppable force that had conquered countless worlds across the galaxy. Their military might was unmatched, their technology light years ahead of anything humanity could fathom. The Empire's forces were vast, stretching across thousands of planets, and their reputation was one of fear and unrelenting domination. Planets that once flourished under their rule were now barren and subjugated, their inhabitants nothing more than cogs in the Empire's ever-expanding machine. Now, the Empire's sights had turned to Earth. To the Empire, humanity seemed like a mere speck in the vastness of space, primitive, divided, and unremarkable. Earth's technological advancements were nothing compared to the hyper-advanced weaponry and starships at the Empire's disposal. Humans had never faced a threat like this, but to the Empire, it was a simple matter of conquest. One more planet to fall under their heel, one more species to kneel before them. The first contact. One quiet morning, Earth's leaders were abruptly awoken by the sight of an enormous fleet of warships appearing in Earth's orbit, dwarfing the size of any human-made vessels. These ships were sleek and massive, covered in strange alien symbols and weaponry, and they hovered silently in space, casting long shadows over the planet below. At first, the governments of Earth thought it might be a hoax or a misunderstanding, but the next moment, every communication system on Earth blinked to life. A single, cold voice echoed across every screen, in every language, across all media. Surrender now, or face total annihilation. The message was brief, yet its implications were terrifying. It came from the Galactic Empire, and there was no mistaking the finality in the tone. Humanity's world was about to change forever. The response from Earth's governments was immediate but scattered. Panic spread like wildfire across every nation, and world leaders scrambled to make sense of the situation. Some called for diplomacy, hoping that some form of negotiation might spare Earth. Others, gripped by fear, suggested surrendering immediately to avoid unnecessary bloodshed. In a series of secret meetings, military generals, top scientists, and strategists gathered to discuss humanity's response. They debated wildly. Should they try to fight? What could they possibly do against an empire with ships that could obliterate entire cities? Meanwhile, civilian populations were paralyzed with uncertainty. Streets filled with chaos as citizens tried to understand the gravity of the situation. News outlets broadcasted the same cold, chilling message over and over again, stoking the flames of panic. But as the days passed, something shifted. It became clear that Earth's leaders were not going to give up without a fight. Beneath the fear and confusion, something more primal stirred within humanity: the will to survive. The Empire's underestimation of humanity. The Galactic Empire's commanders had assumed Earth would be an easy conquest. They believed humans to be an inferior species, technologically backward and culturally fractured. The Empire had faced species far stronger, more advanced, and more dangerous than humanity, and it was hard to believe that anything could stand in the way of their unstoppable military machine. The humans were divided, they reasoned, nations were at odds, economies struggling, and their most advanced technologies were still primitive in comparison to the Empire's might. With the flick of a switch, Earth could be brought to its knees. The Empire's fleet, led by the ruthless General Valather, was prepared to bombard Earth from orbit and wipe out any sign of resistance. The general scoffed at the thought of humans being able to mount a defense, believing their biggest challenge would be the inconvenience of dealing with a few primitive weapons. Valather's arrogance would soon become his greatest mistake. Human resolve. Despite the Empire's assumption that humanity would crumble in the face of overwhelming force, Earth began to show a different side. Governments, now in agreement that surrender was not an option, rallied their military forces. World leaders, setting aside their differences, began to coordinate efforts to defend the planet. National armies, air forces, and naval fleets, once divided by borders and politics, now worked as a single unified force. Global communication lines were established, ensuring that every country, no matter how small, could contribute to the effort. On the ground, humanity began organizing. Resistance movements sprouted across every continent. People from all walks of life, engineers, soldiers, scientists, and even civilians, started to adapt, using their resourcefulness to fight back. The world's top scientists worked around the clock, studying the Empire's technology, searching for weaknesses, and developing makeshift weapons that could be used to defend the planet. But it wasn't just technology that gave humanity its strength. It was their unyielding spirit, their determination to survive, and their will to protect their home. Every human, from the most powerful to the most powerless, understood one thing. They would not go down without a fight. They had survived wars, plagues, and natural disasters for millennia. Now, they were up against the might of a galactic empire, but they would fight with everything they had. The rallying cry went up across Earth. We are humans, and we will not be slaves. In secret bunkers and underground bases, humans began preparing for the coming battle. Governments put out calls for volunteers to fight, and the response was overwhelming. Ordinary people began to train, adapt, and prepare for war. They may have lacked the advanced technology of the Empire, but they had something far more dangerous: the strength of a species that had survived against all odds, time and time again. Humanity had been underestimated, and the Galactic Empire would soon learn the cost of that mistake. The first shots of resistance were fired. The war for Earth had begun. Initial skirmishes. The Galactic Empire wasted no time in asserting its dominance. With a terrifying show of force, their warships, equipped with technology far beyond human comprehension, launched a devastating bombardment of Earth's major cities. In the span of hours, entire metropolises were reduced to rubble, their once vibrant skylines now twisted, blackened ruins. These massive ships unleashed energy blasts capable of erasing entire districts, causing worldwide panic. Cities like New York, London, and Tokyo saw their populations decimated in the blink of an eye. The sheer scale of destruction was overwhelming, nothing like humanity had ever seen before. But Earth, despite the odds, did not crumble immediately. As the Empire's ships loomed ominously in the sky, humanity's military forces sprang into action. The first line of defense came from Earth's combined air and ground forces, which had been hastily mobilized in response to the alien threat. Fighter jets took to the skies in swarms, their weapons now infused with whatever alien technology had been reverse-engineered. Ground troops, though vastly outgunned, fought with an unrelenting determination. They launched missiles and set up barriers using whatever resources were available. The contrast between the massive alien ships and Earth's seemingly fragile defenses was stark, but it quickly became clear that humanity was not going down without a fight. Early on, Earth scientists had managed to salvage parts of the downed alien crafts and began the daunting task of reverse engineering them. In secret, makeshift weapons were developed, some more effective than others. The first signs of human ingenuity came in the form of experimental energy shields, which offered some protection against the devastating bombardment from above. It was a small victory, but one that began to show the Empire that humanity's technological gap might not be as insurmountable as they had thought. A glimpse of human combat ability. As the battle raged on, the invaders soon realized something unexpected. Humans fought in ways they could not predict. The Empire's fleet was accustomed to the military strategies of the countless species they had conquered, but humanity had something different, an unpredictable, primal ferocity. The humans didn't simply fight. They adapted and improvised in the heat of battle, using tactics that defied logic and expectation. In the heart of the chaos, small groups of soldiers, armed with hastily constructed weapons and explosives, began to make their mark on the invaders. One such unit, operating out of the ruins of a destroyed city, took down a heavily armored alien cruiser. Using nothing more than modified explosives and a well-executed guerrilla tactic, the humans launched a series of coordinated attacks that destroyed the cruiser's shielding, allowing them to penetrate its hull. This victory, though small compared to the Empire's colossal forces, sent a shockwave through the invaders. It wasn't just the destruction of one ship, It was the realization that the humans would not fight by conventional means. They were unpredictable, resourceful, and willing to sacrifice everything for their survival. The alien invaders had no answer for this kind of guerrilla warfare. No strategy could account for the sheer will and creativity that humans brought to the battlefield. The Resistance's innovation. As the battle wore on, Earth's scientists and engineers knew they had little time to catch up to the Empire's technology if they wanted to survive. The stakes were higher than ever, and humanity had no choice but to innovate or face total annihilation. Using alien technology scavenged from downed ships, Earth's top minds began to develop new weapons and defenses at an unprecedented pace. The first major breakthrough came with the development of human-made energy shields, which provided temporary protection from the Empire's devastating weapons. Though rudimentary, these shields offered a lifeline to the human forces who had little to counter the Empire's superior firepower. These shields became crucial in repelling the alien assault, buying humanity precious time to regroup and develop more effective weapons. In laboratories around the world, scientists worked around the clock to create new biological and chemical weapons. They studied the alien physiology and quickly discovered vulnerabilities that could be exploited. The first biological weapons designed specifically to target alien DNA were deployed in isolated skirmishes. Though their effects were not immediate, the alien invaders began to notice a strange pattern. Human forces, once struggling to hold their ground, were now beginning to make dents in their advanced armor and defensive technologies. The true power of Earth's resistance, however, lay not in their weapons alone, but in how they used the terrain. Humans knew their planet intimately, its forests, mountains, cities, and oceans. Where the Empire relied on sterile, precise attacks, humans turned the environment itself into a weapon. Cities that had once been symbols of human achievement became mazes of traps and guerrilla hideouts. The dense forests of the Amazon and the rugged terrain of the Himalayas became battlegrounds where humans could maneuver freely, catching the invaders off guard. Empire's first major defeat. The turning point came when a large fleet of the Galactic Empire's warships entered Earth's atmosphere for the first time, intent on finishing their conquest. Their commanders, still believing humanity to be on the verge of collapse, were confident that their overwhelming firepower would swiftly crush any remaining resistance. What they didn't expect was the ambush that awaited them. In a brilliant display of coordinated strategy, Earth's military forces, now equipped with newly developed anti-ship weapons, launched a surprise attack. Using advanced targeting systems and human-engineered modifications to alien tech, they targeted the warship's weak points with surgical precision. Entire squadrons of fighter jets, equipped with stolen alien weaponry, launched synchronized assaults on the Empire's fleet. The battle unfolded in Earth's atmosphere, where the humans used the planet's gravity and weather systems to their advantage. The Empire's ships, though powerful, were not designed for close combat in an unpredictable atmosphere. The humans, however, fought with the kind of ferocity and adaptability the Empire had not accounted for. The decisive moment came when a group of human fighter pilots managed to breach the heavily armored hull of one of the Empire's flagship vessels, planting explosives in its vital systems. The blast was so powerful that it tore through the ship's central control, crippling the entire fleet. In one fell swoop, humanity destroyed half of the Empire's warships in a single battle. The shockwaves of this victory spread across the Empire, sending a message no one could ignore. The humans were not just a primitive species to be swept aside. They were capable of adapting, surviving, and fighting back with a savagery the Empire could not understand. The first major defeat the Empire had suffered in centuries served as a painful reminder that the Galactic Empire's arrogance had clouded their judgment. They had underestimated humanity, and now they were paying the price. This victory, while not the end of the war, was a powerful statement that humanity would not be easily subdued. It was the spark that ignited a fire of resistance across Earth, one that the Empire would soon regret underestimating. The Galactic Empire's final push and human resilience. Desperation and the Empire's last effort. The Empire's forces, battered and bruised from their unexpected defeat, began to understand the gravity of their situation. Their initial assessment of humanity had been dangerously flawed. Despite their technological superiority, they had failed to break the human spirit. Earth's cities lay in ruins, but humans had proven themselves capable of far more than mere survival. They had fought back with ingenuity, adaptability, and a relentless drive that the Empire had never encountered before. In a last-ditch effort to crush humanity's resolve, the Empire's high command decided to abandon their conventional tactics. The annihilation of Earth's cities had failed to break the human will, and their armies had been severely diminished by the unexpected resistance. Now, they would attempt to break humanity on a psychological level. The Empire deployed an elite force of shock troops, highly trained, ruthless soldiers equipped with advanced weaponry and devastating alien technologies. These troops were ordered to land on Earth's surface in a brutal, planet-wide assault. Their mission was simple: wipe out any remaining human resistance, destroy morale, and crush the last hope of defiance. The Empire was no longer just fighting for conquest. They were fighting for dominance over a species that refused to be defeated. Humanity's greatest stand. As the Empire's shock troops descended onto Earth's major population centers, they were met with an unexpected sight. Humanity was not running or hiding. Instead, it was rising to meet them. Across the globe, humanity united in the face of total annihilation. Soldiers who had once fought under different flags now stood side by side. Civilians, ordinary men, women, and even children, took up arms, crafting makeshift weapons out of scrap metal, wood, and anything they could find. These were not professional soldiers, but they were fighting for the one thing the Empire could never take: their homes, their families, and their freedom. The resistance was not limited to any one nation or city. It was a global effort, from the mountains of Tibet to the plains of Africa, from the deserts of the Middle East to the forests of North America. Humans fought back with an intensity the Empire had never encountered. Guerrilla warfare was employed on every front, with humans striking quickly and then disappearing into the terrain. The invaders found themselves in unfamiliar environments, unable to predict the next move of the human fighters. It was in these moments that humanity's ingenuity truly shone. Armed with everything from homemade explosives to nuclear arsenals, humans used everything at their disposal to hold back the Empire's forces. Their tactics were unorthodox, blending modern weapons with centuries-old techniques, making it nearly impossible for the Empire's soldiers to anticipate what would come next. The shock troops, initially confident in their superior training and firepower, were caught off guard by the sheer ferocity and unpredictability of their human adversaries. The Empire had underestimated the depths of human resilience. They had expected a quick surrender. Instead, they faced an unyielding force that would stop at nothing to defend their home. The last battle. The final confrontation came in Earth's largest city, a sprawling metropolis that had once been a symbol of human achievement. Now, it was the site of the Empire's last stand. After months of resistance, the remaining alien forces concentrated their remaining strength in a last-ditch effort to hold their ground. Their plan was to break through the city's defenses, crush the remaining human forces, and claim Earth once and for all. But humanity would not yield. The streets, once bustling with civilians, were now the battlegrounds where human soldiers, civilians, and volunteers fought tooth and nail to protect their city. The final fight for Earth was not just a military engagement. It was a battle for the very soul of humanity. In every corner of the city, from the underground bunkers to the towering skyscrapers, humans fought with a tenacity the Empire could not comprehend. Human fighters, having learned from previous battles, used the environment to their advantage. Urban warfare, once a daunting challenge for any army, became the humans' greatest strength. They knew every street, every alley, every building. The Empire's shock troops, despite their advanced training, found themselves outmaneuvered at every turn. Human soldiers blended into the landscape, using camouflage, traps, and makeshift weapons to strike from the shadows. The fighting was brutal, with losses on both sides mounting as the battle raged on. But for every alien soldier who fell, another human rose. The Empire's forces, unable to break through the human defenses, began to falter. They were not prepared for the level of sacrifice the humans were willing to make. The Empire soldiers, no matter how well trained, were simply not capable of withstanding the relentless human onslaught. As the final wave of the Empire's troops closed in on the last defensive line, it was clear the battle was almost over. The Empire's shock troops, once so sure of victory, were now surrounded and outnumbered. The Empire's leadership, watching from afar, realized that the humans had triumphed once again. The Empire's superiority in technology had not been enough to break the human spirit, and their shock troops, once considered invincible, were being torn apart by the very people they had come to conquer. The Empire's collapse. The Galactic Empire, watching from their distant command centers, began to panic. The human forces were relentless, and their victory in the city was a decisive blow to their hopes of conquest. The Empire's high command, realizing that they were losing their grip on Earth, ordered a retreat, a last, desperate attempt to preserve their remaining forces. But it was too late. The retreat was chaotic, with the Empire's forces scattered and disorganized. Human fighters, having tasted victory, pursued them with a single-minded determination. There was no mercy. Every alien warship that tried to flee was hunted down, targeted by humanity's remaining forces. Humans had proven that they would never stop fighting for their planet, no matter the odds. In the end, the remnants of the Empire's fleet were either destroyed in fierce combat or forced to retreat into the depths of space, leaving behind nothing but the wreckage of their failed invasion. The Galactic Empire, once a vast and indomitable force, had crumbled against the resilience of humanity. The final victory did not come with fanfare or celebration. It came in silence, as humanity stood over the ashes of the alien invaders. Earth was theirs again, and the Empire, for all its technological might, had been defeated by the most unexpected of forces, the indomitable will of humanity. The aftermath and the Empire's recognition. A changed Earth. The battle for Earth had left the planet scarred, its cities reduced to rubble, its populations decimated. But the invaders had failed. Against all odds, humanity had risen, fought back, and secured victory. The victory was not without sacrifice. Millions of lives had been lost, countless families torn apart, and cities that had once been symbols of human achievement lay in ruins. Yet, amidst the devastation, something extraordinary had occurred. Humanity had proven to itself and the galaxy that it would not be so easily broken. In the aftermath of the war, Earth began the arduous process of rebuilding. But this time, the rebuilding wasn't just physical, it was symbolic. Humans were no longer merely survivors. They were victors. The war had united the world in a way that no political treaty or diplomatic summit ever could. National borders, once lines of division, were now irrelevant in the face of a common enemy that had underestimated humanity's resolve. Around the globe, people began to repair their homes, their cities, and their societies. Scientists and engineers worked tirelessly to reverse engineer the technology left behind by the invaders, using it not just to rebuild, but to advance humanity's own capabilities. The infrastructure of the planet slowly came back online, more efficient and powerful than ever before. The war had been a crucible, forging a new sense of unity and purpose among the people of Earth. Where there had once been disarray, now there was solidarity. Though there was mourning for the lives lost, humanity's spirit had not been shattered. Rather, it had been tempered in the fires of battle, stronger than before. The human race had learned something invaluable. No matter how dire the situation, no matter the odds, they would never give up. Earth had been changed, not just physically but spiritually, as the human race embraced its place as a force to be reckoned with on the galactic stage. The Galactic Empire's humbling. Far from Earth, in the cold reaches of space, the Galactic Empire was reeling from its unexpected defeat. The shockwaves of their failure rippled through the highest ranks of their leadership. They had underestimated humanity, and in doing so, They had paid the price. Their fleet, once a formidable force, was now shattered, their best shock troops destroyed, and their advanced technologies rendered obsolete by human ingenuity. The Empire's arrogance, once so powerful and all-encompassing, had been their undoing. The Empire's leadership convened in emergency councils, the once confident rulers now forced to re-evaluate their assumptions. The idea that a planet of primitive beings could rise up and defeat them was incomprehensible, yet it had happened. Human combat ability, ingenuity, and sheer will had shattered their plans and left them facing humiliation on a galactic scale. The loss was more than just military. It was a blow to their entire belief system. The galaxy had long been under the thumb of the Empire, its leaders expecting submission from every species they encountered. But now, their gaze would turn toward Earth, and they would see humanity in an entirely different light. The Empire's commanders began to understand the scale of their mistake. They had viewed humans as weak, insignificant, and easily conquered. What they failed to understand was that humanity's strength did not lie in their technology or sheer numbers, but in their resolve. The Empire now faced a galaxy in which humanity would no longer be the underdog, but a power that demanded respect. For the first time in centuries, the Galactic Empire was forced to reconsider its methods of expansion. The humans had broken them, not just physically but psychologically. Their leadership knew that any future attempt to conquer Earth would be met with fierce resistance. The lesson was clear: underestimate humanity at your peril. The promise of humanity's future. Though Earth had only recently secured its place as a victor in this galactic conflict, the future was already taking shape. The war had awakened something in humanity, a collective determination to never be subject to outside oppression again. While the Empire had been defeated, the story of humanity's rise was far from over. Earth, now unified under a common cause, turned its attention to the stars. No longer would they be passive observers of the universe. No longer would they cower in the shadows of alien empires. Humanity, with its newfound strength, set its sights on the exploration of space, eager to ensure that no other force would ever threaten their home again. A message was sent from Earth, broadcast to the far reaches of the galaxy. It was a simple message, but one that resonated with an unshakable conviction. We will not be cowed. We will not be slaves. We are humans, and we stand united. The message was received by the galaxy's inhabitants, some with fear, others with awe. The Galactic Empire, now nursing its wounds and licking its pride, understood the gravity of this declaration. They had once sought to conquer this planet, and now they were confronted with a humanity that would not just defend itself. It would actively defend the galaxy from any who would seek to harm it. Humanity's journey had just begun. With the defeat of the Galactic Empire, Earth's place in the galaxy had changed forever. The once weakened species had become a force to be reckoned with. The galaxy would no longer look at Earth with disdain, but with a wariness that recognized the power of human resilience. The Galactic Empire, for all its might, had learned a valuable lesson: never underestimate humanity. The humans, once thought to be easy prey, had proven that their spirit could not be crushed, their resolve could not be broken. And as humanity moved forward into the unknown expanse of the stars, the Empire, like so many others before them, would be forced to reckon with the fact that humanity had truly earned its place among the cosmos.